make it $2,500 this month. What I do to this money? Wait a minute. I need to do payments. Oh my God. Oh my life, brothers. $1,700 for rent. That's a lot of money. The owner to the building, he got rich quick, and I continue poor. That's not right. $200 for electricity. No, that's a lot of money too. $100 for my cell phone from Cricket. Sometimes I don't have a service, but I need pay anyway. $500 for child support. Oh my God. Why no use protection? I never use TV. Oh my gosh. And only $2 for me. That's my American dream. Oh my God, what I do to this life. Oh.
Several years back, I made the decision to leave the United States. Not a great hair day. We'll have to go to the restroom and adjust that. But I decided to leave the United States for reasons of logic. It was not an emotional decision. In fact, emotions had to be shut up because I didn't want to leave the United States. Emotional attachments, years of investing into a city. 12 years I was living in LA. I built something there. Had a life, friends, family. But I got up and I left the United States because logic has to prevail. Deep down, I'm a stoic, okay? I don't allow emotions to play a part in any executive decisions, and neither should you. Though emotions are going to fuel certain thoughts and they're going to motivate us, when making an executive decision, you should not let them be a deciding factor. At least I do not let them be a deciding factor. And I looked at logistics. What's happening in the United States right now? What's been happening in the United States systematically since I was a kid? I was going through my things and I read a poem that I wrote in 2004, 5, and it was while I was still in university, and it was called "America, Where Have You Gone?" And it was all about all the things that have happened in the United States, the way we'd been deregulated. These were during the Bush years. Those were bad years. Now they look like nothing compared to what we're seeing, but realistically, they were one of the nails in the coffin. America, where have you gone? And I talked about the America that my grandfather had come to in 1947 when he got off the boat, and he was a waiter, and he was able to work as a waiter and build a life for himself. Within a few years, he was able to go back to Cyprus, find my grandma, bring her back to America, married her. They built a life. A few years after they had been married and had a kid, he bought the diner that he worked at, the Pretty Lady Diner in the Bay Area. He worked. He bought a house in 1960, in 1961, somewhere there. After 1 year, he paid it off. Bought that house for $17,500. At the time, that was a lot of money, but it wasn't so much that he couldn't pay it off in 2 years. He was able to put his kid through school, my mom. He was able to buy stocks. He made great investments. He bought Apple when Apple was new. He bought IBM in the 70s. He invested his money smartly, and the man died with a good chunk of wealth, which my grandma was able to inherit. By the time I was coming around, there's no such path to home ownership. There's no such path to starting your own business with the same potential, the same ability to take risks. The American dream was alive and well when my grandpa came. He brought 3 of his brothers. He brought my grandma's brother. My whole chain of family in the Bay Area, my American roots come from the fact that my grandpa was able, with $40 in his pocket at the time, to go to the United States and build something. Now, in 2012, after years, a decade of being out of the United States, living in Europe and studying, I decided to do the same thing. I had a month's rent. I had a car that I had inherited, a 1993 Nissan Sentra that I inherited from my grandpa's brother, Michalis, and I had $340 cash in my pocket. It was a different kind of journey than my grandfather had. Was I able to build something? I was. I also had 2 master's degrees and in a profession that didn't matter. But, I had certain advantages, and yet still, that American dream was just always something that was being pitched to me, but not something that was realistically tangible. I realized something as I climbed in the ranks in different fields in the United States. I worked in one field for many years, then I switched over to business, and I realized something. The more I brushed shoulders with people at the top, the more I worked with people at the top, is that everyone at the top, almost everyone at the top, was born into the top. it wasn't like they were able to scratch and claw their way up. We hear these stories about like, oh, they started with nothing. Very few people in the United States started with nothing. The percentage of people that become millionaires that don't come from wealth to begin with, it's a tiny percentage. It's a tiny, tiny percentage. Everyone that's wealthy almost comes from some form of wealth. The American dream, I mean, what does it take to buy a house now? You know, like people get 50-year mortgages, and they have to get a mortgage on their mortgage. You know, they have to refinance and this and that to make investments. Most businesses go under in 6 months, and it's usually a capital thing. The American dream is not there. It's a slave nation. You cannot just, sure, there's AI and there's tech and there's this, but you still need someone to invest in you. You need still someone, some form of a benefactor, you know? And we hear these stories. It's like Hollywood with like, oh, Clint Eastwood was climbing up a ladder when he got a job. Oh, Harrison Ford was this. That's 1 in a million, maybe 1 in a million. And even when you get there, how do you maintain it? What does a house cost now? I mean, I'm selling houses out here in Dubai. We're selling houses. You can get a villa, you know, for under $1 million in Dubai. A beautiful villa for $1 million or less. What do you get in LA, New York, Chicago, Miami for under $1 million? What does your food cost? What does your petrol cost? What do your cigarettes cost? It's untenable. Logic drove me out of the United States because I saw that people as a whole weren't standing up for themselves and weren't fighting for change. We feel rewarded from posts. We feel rewarded from certain protests. But where do they then lead? Has the change occurred? Are the Democrats good? Are the Republicans good? Is anyone doing what's best for America and for Americans? It doesn't seem that way to me.
Just 30 years ago, someone could be working at Macy's, marry someone who's working at Lowe's 40 hours a week, get married, buy a house, and raise 3 children. The American dream, and pull that off in their late 20s or early 30s. Now, we created an economy where none of the essential jobs for Gen Zers can afford to have access to the American dream in a reasonable time frame. They might be able to save and get access to it at 57, but what the fuck? You want them to live in an apartment and sacrifice till they're 57? When every other generation before us got to have access to it in their late 20s, early 30s, if you fucked up maybe late 30s, you shouldn't have to be a brain surgeon and a top YouTuber getting married to buy the average house and have 1 child. When just 30 years ago, a high school dropout who's like, I'm just going to live my life and get a job down the street could raise a family on that. That's the American dream. That's where the boomers get that work hard, pull yourself up. No, if you could drop out of high school and go work 50 hours a week at a factory and break your back, but you bought a house and raised 3 kids with a stay-at-home mom, you should be proud of that. We're not trying to take that from you. That doesn't exist anymore. You have to be extraordinary today to live an ordinary life.
When the hell did the American dream become, let's get a $600,000 loan so I can be in debt for the rest of my life, so I can work at a job that I fucking hate for the rest of my life? When did that become the American dream? And when is it a good idea to kick at your son or your daughter at the age of 18 when they have nothing just so they can get their own loans, so they can be in debt forever? That's not the American dream. They lied to you. They sold you a false bag of goods. Congratulations. Welcome to America.
So fucking sick of this life. Every day you get up, you go to work. But what the fuck for? What are we getting up for? You get up, you go to work, you get paid, you pay your bills, you're fucking broke. Every fucking week. When's it gonna change? Is this just the way it is now? Just live our lives fucking broke? No money to save? No vacation? Just barely pay your bills. Nothing left. And you wonder why people have so many problems with their mental health. Because they're just not fucking happy. It affects all aspects of your life. You go to work, you're fucking thinking about it. Drive home, you're thinking about it. With your family, you're thinking about it. You try to sleep, you're thinking about it. You don't get a fucking break. And that's what the people in the government don't understand. The people are fucking tired. We're sick and tired of the bullshit. People need fucking help, and they know it ain't fucking coming. And that's the reality of the whole situation. We're all just
I'm just like so fucking fed up with everything. I don't want to talk to nobody anymore. I don't want to make any new friends. I don't have any anyways. I don't have money to go anywhere. Can't go on vacation. I feel like I know I'm not the only one mentally just exhausted right now, but I don't know how much more I can take.
Where did the dream go? Where did the country go? That's what people really want to know. The same dream that they used to call the American dream is starting to feel like it's not obtainable anymore. And millions are starting to realize that. So that's why they're starting to see that nothing makes sense anymore. The same house that they was promised they could buy when they got their job, they're starting to realize that they really can't afford it. And the dream is just slipping away constantly. And people are waking up every day feeling like this. And I know it's terrifying because people were believing the lies. And now they're starting to realize that nothing is real anymore. So that's why you see a lot of people walking around frustrated, angry. They don't know what to do, nowhere to turn, nowhere to go. Because this world has become so cold that it's hard to keep up and maintain in this world. The cost of living is just too high. And then the same houses that you was looking forward to buying, you won't own them. And that's the sad part. You can't afford it. Mortgages taking 30 years to pay off. Sometimes even longer than that. And you start to realize that something ain't adding up. And that's what makes you frustrated. That's what makes a lot of us frustrated. As you can see. When is it going to get better? We just want to know. But they'll never answer that. Because they don't want you to know. They're just going to keep telling you, it's going to be all right. You'll survive. When are we going to do more than just survive? When are we going to live for a change? It's like they don't want to see us live. They don't want to see us win. It's like it's designed for you to fail. And that's the sad part. Because millions are frustrated because they're failing everywhere. They feel like they can't do nothing right. They try to get a car, a new car, they can't afford it. They try to get a new house, they can't afford it. Why the goalposts keep moving? Why keep changing? Every time a new generation grow up, it always changes. Every time. And make that make sense. How can you always critique the same situation when a goalpost is always different. The same rules don't apply that used to apply in 1970 for 2026. Things have changed. Sometimes people act like things haven't changed. It has changed. The economy is a lot different. You see a lot of AI technology. It's confusing. You see a lot of people getting fired from their jobs, left and right. It's confusing. You see a lot of chaos going on around the world. It's confusing. So that's why this dream is dead. This American dream. It ain't the same dream no more. So let me know how y'all feel about that. That's my take on the situation. And I'm going to see y'all again. Peace.